Welcome to Mind Your Mind. Mind Your Mind podcast is for busy people like you who want to enjoy life and free up their time and emotional space by learning valuable tools for self-care and mindfulness. Our weekly topics are filled with compelling discussions and practical solutions to increase your productivity and healthy living. I'm your host, Joseph Tropper, and I'm honored to have you here with me today. Hello and welcome to episode 15, the trip planning session. And I know you might be scratching your head thinking, well, why do I need a podcast about that? But you'll actually find that a lot of people run into problems when they travel. Problems getting along, problems with plans, problems with smashed expectations, and especially communication issues. I find that a lot of couples and a lot of families have these issues. And if we could just do some planning ahead and just kind of thinking through some of the challenges we're going to be having, I think that we could accomplish some really great things over the trip. One of the frustrations that couples have, or families have, is that everyone has different agendas about what they hope to accomplish on the trip. And so what I hope to help you today with is to be able to just kind of zoom out before the trip happens, or maybe you're on a trip right now and having a miserable time, and I would challenge you to try to get back on track with this as well. And so that's what we're going to do today. All right, so I'm going to be talking about a series of questions that you could have with yourself, and of course it's always better to have the other people involved in the trip to help fill in these answers for themselves and have a discussion about it. But I have worked with people who have done this just by themselves and been able to really greatly improve their trip as well. And so if you want the printout, you could just go to mindyourmindonline.com and you could print out the trip planning session, and you could print out however many copies you need to do with you and your spouse or you and your family members. And if you want, you could even modify it for kids, even young kids, and have them fill out some of it, although you don't have to go into all the minute details that I have here. As we begin this, I just want to start with a quote from Kaye. He says, "To travel is to take a journey into yourself." And I think it's really very deep and very apropos that, when we travel, we're looking and we're exploring and we're expanding our horizons and becoming more educated and more aware of the things around us. Maybe we're going for leisure, maybe we're going for business, but there's always a internal journey as well that's part of it. So I'm going to take you through a series of questions that you could ask yourself and your spouse or travel partners. And what my clients have reported to me is that just doing this little debriefing, and it could literally be a 5-minute process or less for you to just fill it out and then have a quick conversation about it, but it really helps set things up to a really successful trip. And so give it a try and let me know how it works. And if you still feel stuck after this and you feel that I can help you, and you can reach out to me and we could do some more advanced skills. Depending on the feedback I get, I'm always open to giving more advanced lessons as well. But I think that for a standard person, this certainly will be a very good start. And I think that although it seems very overwhelming, and a lot of my clients say to me, oh, it's going to be so bad, and I dread traveling with my spouse, with my kids, with the situation, although I can't change your destination, I can't change the past, but we can get into the present and we can hopefully make changes that'll improve the future. So here it is. We're going to do 3 segments: the plan, the triggers, and the enjoyment. For the plans, just write down, what's your destination? When are you going? And let's say you're going for a 1-week trip. So go easy on the travel days, the first day and the last day, because you can't expect much from those. Some people are very ambitious. What are your travel arrangements? How are you getting there? Transportation, what are your accommodations? So just be clear on these things. And you might say, well, I don't know yet. Okay, great. So then write that. And that might be a conversation point with you and your partner or family members, that maybe some people feel anxious about that, or maybe people are very excited about not knowing, and hey, we're just going to sleep somewhere. And that's all cool. All right, then next is identify the triggers. There's a lot of triggers involved in travel. There's money. How much does this cost? Or how much are we spending? And these are just triggers, so mark that off. That's on there. There's my work and other stress, like I'm still thinking about work, I'm still connected with work. There's travel styles. I love to get to the airport hours in advance. It just makes me feel more safe. Well, someone else might say, I don't like to be in the airport. It makes me nervous. I'd rather get there at the last minute. Okay, that's an important conversation to have, not at the last minute on the morning of the trip, but ahead of time. There's vacation ideals. Someone might say, I love to just sit on the beach and do nothing. Or for them, they would say that is doing something and just relax. And someone else might say, well, I have to sightsee and I want to see everything and get out and move. Okay, great. Just identify these are some of the triggers that have been problems in the past. Another thing is I'm being outside my norm, don't have my own bed, don't have my own washing machine, don't have my own food. Okay, that's important. Another trigger could be interacting with others that, hey, socially, that could be a trigger, or how my spouse or family members interact with others in a positive or negative way. Another trigger could be kids and family. How do we deal with this together? How do we take care of the kids' needs and also balance that? Family trips that have kids are not really romantic getaways, obviously. Okay, and the last one, which is definitely going to be checked off for everybody, is expectations. We all have different expectations. Okay, so in order to help facilitate this communication, let's get clear what the expectations are, and this is the enjoy section. So let's really have a good time. So first, set 3 goals. What are you trying to accomplish? I want to rejuvenate. I want to sit on the beach for at least an hour every morning. I want to be able to see this person or this site. Write the goals. I want to eat food and from this area. Okay, so write them down and just get clear. What are your 3 biggest goals? Next, write down your 3 fears. I'm afraid we're going to be fighting the whole time. I'm afraid we're going to spend tons of money. I'm afraid that we're not going to get to do all the things on my list. Write down what are your fears. I'm afraid you're going to say an inappropriate thing in front of my grandmother, etc. Okay? Then do best case scenario. What's the best case scenario of this trip? Meaning, pretend like, okay, I came home and now I could describe this would be the optimal best trip that I had, and this is what happened. So write it out, because you'll see as you write it, there are going to be things that you could notice that you could change and make it better. And then write down the worst case scenario, which for a lot of my clients is just thinking about their last trip. This is a total disaster, and this went wrong and that went wrong. Now, we can't control whether the plane ride goes smooth or whether there's a car accident or not, but we can control some of the aspects, the interpersonal aspects. Okay, how to divide your time. This is really important, because as you've probably started to notice, intelligent people have different opinions about how to spend their vacation. And if you spend the whole time fighting with your spouse or fighting with your family members, you're not going to have a good time. So what I recommend is travel days are light. They're ones where everyone needs to be provided for, just in food and shelter and relaxation. So let's say you're going for a 1-week trip from Sunday to Sunday. So the first Sunday and the last Sunday are just travel days. There's not much to plan there. Okay. Now, of course, you'll have to have a discussion about what to do, but then look at the days in between: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and divide them between the people there. If it's you and your spouse, or you're the primary people and there's a couple of kids coming with you, then you and your spouse could split up the days, and Monday will be my day. I'll decide what we're doing, and Tuesday will be your day, and Wednesday will be my day, etc. You could each talk about what your basic priorities are. Like, even on my spouse's day, well, for me, it's really important that we eat a healthy lunch and we eat a healthy supper before 8 o'clock. Okay, great. So put that on the list. And your spouse might say, well, for me, it's really important that the kids have snacks no matter where we go, no matter what time, and that there's always a bathroom accessible within 1 hour of wherever we're at. Okay, that's a fair request. Or I'm not interested in hiking, but I know you are. Well, okay, let's see how we can work that out. So how do you want to divide that time? Just define it ahead of time. Next is a troubleshooting. How do we get back on track? We're fighting. We don't want to keep fighting. We don't want to keep disagreeing throughout the entire trip. So how do we do that? Okay. And some of doing that is defining, what do I want from you? What do I want from you on the trip? My partner that's coming with me, my family member, my spouse. And what do you want from me? Define that. And I want you each to write that yourself. And because we know a lot of the answers and we could hear. And finally, I call it the reset truce, which is, do we both agree that even if we have one lousy day together, that night we could apologize and make up, and the next morning we could try again? And most of my couples say, yes, we do, but then it's very hard to follow that, but you've committed, so do it. Some of them say blatantly no, which good luck to them, because the trip's not going to be good. And some people say maybe, which, at least is better than no. But I really encourage you to have a yes, because otherwise you're both going to have a miserable time, or the family's going to have a miserable time. As you can see, these things really help frame what you're trying to do, and they help you hopefully just spend more time enjoying. And yes, they do take a little bit of plan ahead of time, and you might say, well, Joe, this is all great. This is for someone that likes to plan ahead, and but I'm a free spirit and I can't do this. So the answer is that anytime we think about things ahead of time, we're going to be, by definition, when we're working with other people, we're going to have to accommodate. They're going to have to give a little, and you're going to have to give a little. So I'm not asking you to map out every little detail of your trip. It could be done in a way that you're both comfortable, especially on the days that you're in charge of. But what I am saying is that when you do put thought into it ahead of time, you will see that it's going to go a lot more smoothly. All right, so happy sailing, happy flying, safe travels, and I hope this has really enhanced your travels. And please, guys, keep the questions coming at mindyourmindonline.com. Click on Ask Joseph, and I really look forward to hearing from you. And take a moment to rate us, which increases our visibility and helps us reach more people, which is a goal, that more people should be able to learn lessons about how to mind your mind. Take care. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to mind your mind. For more practical ideas and to make sure you never miss an episode, visit us at mindyourmindonline.com.